CLIL. Welcome. My name is Peeter Mehisto. Here are the questions this video will answer. What CLIL is not, what CLIL is, what are some CLIL goals, definitions, and practices? CLIL, Content and Language Integrated Learning. So the two core elements are content and language, not as separate entities, but taken as an integrated whole, content and language integrated learning. Please note the small change that will occur in this image. So, we're speaking about languages, not just one language. In CLIL, some content subjects, such as science and geography, are taught through the L2, the second language, and others through the L1, the first language. However, the two or more languages of schooling do not operate as if in separate silos in a student's head. Students are bound to draw on their strongest language even when they are learning a given subject primarily through an L2. Before defining CLIL, let's look at what CLIL is not. It is not simply a matter of changing the language of instruction. High-quality ethical CLIL is not just for high achievers. A wide range of students can be successful in CLIL. It is not elitist. Students from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds deserve access to CLIL. And it is not a means for suppressing the L1. High-quality and ethical CLIL also supports first language development. It is also not just a matter of learning lots of new L2 words. Yes, vocabulary is important, but if that is the primary focus, this is what is likely to happen. CLIL seeks to create meaningful contexts, the learning of subject field content whilst learning a new language, and using the language over and over again for a meaningful purpose. Then more language is retained. Not just words, but phrases and so much more. Here is a picture from a grade 3, year 3 CLIL classroom. I suggest pausing the video to analyze the picture and to draw out some CLIL practices. The best practices include peer cooperative work. Walls are being used as a resource for both content and language learning. Student work is displayed. That tells them it is important. The teacher is providing feedback and scaffolding. Now let's look at an adult CLIL class. The teacher is using a mix and mingle strategy. After all, it's difficult to learn a language without lots of opportunities to speak with other people, to try out what one is learning. Let's look at an example of a language class where a teacher wished to transition from just teaching the language per se to adopting a CLIL approach. Initially, the intended outcome was you'll be able to talk about your favorite drink. Many students did not fully engage. There was little substantive content. With another class, the teacher suggested you'll be able to invent a new drink and sell it to others. Definitely more meaningful, more interesting, more demanding, requiring a much richer use of language. As the teacher fully embraced CLIL and learned more about it, here is what she came up with for one 75-minute lesson. So you'll be able to list common myths about sugary drinks, counter these myths with facts, and had a language outcome, you'll be able to build a well-structured argument using a model. The lesson is driven by content. And the language outcome is not just about vocabulary or grammar. So what happened in the lesson? The activities included brainstorming language needed, surveying student consumption, Habits, group work discussing one of 7 statements each, such as orange juice contains as much sugar as cola, true or false. Presenting group conclusions. When it comes to the language outcome, the students used a model first to think through their arguments to create a well-structured argument. Let's look at some actual definitions of CLIL. CLIL is a dual-focused educational approach in which an additional language is used for the learning and teaching of content and language. The definition describes a key feature of CLIL. This is a useful starting point. However, it also raises many questions such as, what about the L1? Here's another definition. All types of provision in which a second language is used to teach certain subjects in the curriculum other than the language lessons themselves. Here we get a little more detail. In all fairness, it is really impossible to define CLIL in detail in one sentence. So, let's go into greater detail. In CLIL, at least 2 languages, including the L1, are used to teach different high-status subjects such as history or mathematics. From my perspective, physical education and art are also high-status subjects, but that is not the way they're seen in some communities. Key is that students be exposed to a wide range of language through diverse subjects. CLIL teachers largely separate the L1 and L2 by teaching a given subject primarily through one or the other language. The L1, however, is used sparingly and judiciously by teachers teaching through the student's L2 and vice versa, thereby taking into account that the L1 and the L2 continually interact in the learner's mind. Content and language learning are systematically supported in both content and language classes. In the long term, CLIL aims to support students from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds in developing age-appropriate levels of L1 competence in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, grade-appropriate levels of advanced proficiency in L2 listening, speaking, reading, and writing, grade-appropriate levels of academic achievement in content subjects such as science or history, taught primarily through the L2, and in those taught primarily through the L1. And an understanding and appreciation of the L1 and L2 cultures. The capacity for and interest in intercultural communication. The goal is to support students using the language outside of the classroom, and the cognitive and social skills and habits required for success in an ever-changing world. Of course, CLIL is much more complicated than that. There are many more pieces to the puzzle, but those will have to wait for another video. If you're interested in reading more about CLIL, may I suggest CLIL Essentials for Secondary School Teachers. The references. Thank you for watching.